quickly see the command. So I think it was, Python 3. Let me just do over here in CGI. Okay, so I've given CGI flag. Let me see if it works. I'm not able to kind of like recall if this is the correct one, but we'll figure that out. Okay, and problem loading page. It's loading over 8080, and here what I will do is that I'll say 8080. Okay, it's loading the web page for me, but that CGI bin. What I'll do is that I will now write CGI bin. So this was our folder, and now you see what will happen is that I think this is the correct command. Maybe let's see if it works. So what is happening over here is that all the scripts. So scripts is something which is the core thing of a developer, which we don't want to disclose. So all the script we need to keep it in the specific folder with the name CGI bin. And now because we have kept that as CGI bin, thing is that if someone try to view the content of that CGI bin, they won't be able to kind of view that thing. So let's see what I will do is that I will do what I'll do is I will cp CGI bin, and I will this time keep a different name, QWE. Okay, for an example. Let's say -r, and let's say do ls. Okay, so now if you see there are two folders over here, QWE, and if I go into the QWE, if you see ls, you see the file is there. Okay, so now what I will do is that I will again rerun the CGI server this time. Okay, and it is running. Now let's go back over here. So CGI bin is something we are not able to access. And now let's see if we give the other folder name. If we give the other folder name, you see that it is accessible to us, and we can see the Python code that is over there. Okay, the Python code that is over there. Okay, but if you keep the file folder name as CGI bin, and if you run the web server as CGI, it won't allow that folder content to be seen by anyone. I mean, like if this Ramnex OS was publicly accessible, no one around the world will be able to see the content of that CGI bin folder. Okay. Now to access that file, we need to know the specific name of that file. Okay. So then only we'll be able to access that. So what we will do is that we'll just because we know that okay, abc.py file is there. We do that and we press enter. I hope it executes. And yeah, there was an error. And error says that the error is user bin and Python no such file directory. So what we will do is that, let me just come quickly to that. So over here we are here ls we do cd cgi bin, we do ls, we are in this file, we do nano abc.py, and let's do one thing. Let's do Python 3 for example. Let's see if it works. And so the file is there, and we rerun this again. Okay, CGI script is not a plain file, HTTP forbidden. And let's say I will do abc.py this time. I hope it executes. Oh yeah. So now you see this Python file got executed. Okay. And now you see that it is actually not a static web page actually. It seems like a static web page, but you can kind of change the content. So if you view the page source, it contains the same data that we have put it in the Python script, like HTML get request demo, the one that we are seeing over here. If I do the cat abc.py, we see that we printed that in a dynamic manner to the web browser by printing that line by line. Okay. And that's what we are kind of seeing that over here. Now, thing is that to interact with that, we know that it requires it reads two variables, name and age. Okay. So what we will do now is that we'll go to this one, and let's say we do question mark name equal to Anil, and age equal to 43, and then enter. Okay, and now you see the static web page, the value change. Okay, because this thing this data, if you see over here, abc.py, name equal to Anil and age equal to 43. So this went to the server, the CGI server. The CGI server processed that, and this time what it did is like it appended that data over here, the name and the age. So it got the value via this 3 lines. It got the value that I passed to the web server, the name and the age value, and the value that it got, it appended that to the name and age field over here. And that's where what we are seeing is that we are seeing that the static web page is not static anymore. It is actually reflecting on the data that is we are sending on the live. So if I change it to any other name, as you might recall, it will update the content dynamically. The thing is that this technique of the CGI bin will actually come out to be really handy to you guys moving forward. In case you want to, let's say, run any kind of web server, let's say you have developed a automation software and you want all the SOC guys to kind of use that. So what you can do is that so what I personally do is that, let's say I make a software and I want all my team to use that. What I do is that I don't share the software with them, the automation software. What I do is that I keep that software inside this CGI bin folder as a Python file, because I like developing the software only in the Python language. I keep that over here. And then I give an interface to my users, my colleagues, by which they can interact with that scripts over the web browser itself. So they can interact that with any browser, maybe on the mobile, maybe on the Firefox browser or Google Chrome browser. And what they can do is that they interact with my software internally, and without me setting my code of the software, I can let all the users utilize my softwares over here. Okay. So this is how thing is that you can utilize your CGI bin script going forward. And so two intentions over here. First intention is to kind of notify you of the technology which is CGI bin, to understand how you can utilize that in your fashion. And the other thing is to make you understand like how the how you can move out from a static web page to a dynamic web page by using this kind of processing in the background, like the one that I am kind of doing over here. So any questions on this, guys? So I hope I was able to make you check on any questions.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can you share us, like, if you have any lab guide with you, so that they will also perform it on hands-on?
Uh, you mean like any kind of software? You mean?
No, no, lab guide, like, so you have created the lab, right? So if you are having any previous lab guides, like for the installation of Kali, and after that the scripts and all.
Yeah. So thing is that this CGI bin is actually quite basic. The one that I am told right now, CGI bin. To kind of have a more like more better, what to say, the practice of CGI bin, what you do is that I will just search one tutorial. Just go to that. Okay, so this is where you can actually know more about how CGI works. Okay, and you can know a lot of things over here. Like for an example, let's say your first CGI program, the basic one, and then how you can kind of implement the headers, like the one that I implemented, the get and post headers. So what you can do is that if I go over here, the get and post name, for example, the get header. So if you see, they are also mentioning the same thing. They're passing on how they are doing that. They are doing that in a similar fashion, but with a different variable, but with the same name. Okay. So this is one of the way by which maybe you can follow. And thing is that you can kind of like, there are few things which I have not discussed till now, like post parameter. So even you can kind of interact with the website, make the website interactive with the post header, which I will kind of discussing later in the post. Okay. And this is how you can kind of follow this, maybe this guide, to have a more better understanding of like how the CGI bin really works in the background. Okay. So this is one thing. And let me just go to the next one.
If possible, you can share us the recorded sessions also, like.
Yes. So that session should be, I think, should be available to you by, I think, next